It's now my pleasure to introduce our keynote presenters. Please join me in welcoming Dave and Deb.
It's the final countdown, baby. Thanks so much, and thanks to all of TBEX for having us back here. We're just truly honored to be here. This is our fourth TBEX for Dave and I, and it's by far the one that we are most excited about. For one, most of you have become like family to us. The travel blogging community is just so amazing, and we're thrilled to be able to talk to you. But for two, we get to do it in our hometown, baby, Toronto, Ontario. Woo! We absolutely love our city, and we hope that you love it too by the time you leave. And man, there's so much to be proud of here. You know, sure, we have a mayor that may or may not be smoking crack, and you know, our hockey team sucks. But you know what? We're here to focus on the positive. That's what we are talking about today. We have one of the best travel communities in the world. We're home to G Adventures and Travel and Escape TV. We have one of the most successful travel masses in the world, thanks to Mary Ellen and Alicia's hard work. And did you know that Evelyn Hannon, journeywoman herself, calls Toronto home? Imagine how proud we were when we were on a trip in Baja, Mexico last month, and someone said to me, "Hey, have you ever heard of journeywoman?" We were like, "Have we heard of journeywoman? We know journeywoman." And they said to us, "You know, I love that website. She inspired me to go out and apply for a semester at sea." She was a nurse, and she said, "I wanted to volunteer for a year." And that is really cool.
That's awesome.
And the thing was, as we thought about it, I went, wow, that just shows the reach that travel blogging has. And that's what we're going to talk to you about today. We're going to talk about just how far travel blogging has come in such a short amount of time.
So for those of you who don't know who we are Dave and Deb, and we run the adventure travel blog, ThePlanetD. Now, I thought it'd be interesting before I tell you a little bit more about us, I want to let you in on a little secret. So get out your smartphones if you want. You can tweet this. You can do whatever you want with it, you know, but this is going to be the news of TBEX. Are you ready? Okay. We are old. All right?
I know, we are. You said that.
You know. Sorry.
I'm 27.
Now, that's not as old as, say, like Johnny Jett or Dave of Go Backpacking, right? Right, Dave? No, I mean, in travel blogging years, guys. Come on, I'm not calling anybody out here on their age. I wouldn't do that. No. So we are old. You know, we've been around for 6 years now, and in this industry, that is old. You know, like when we started ThePlanetD, we did it by cycling from Cairo to Cape Town. Now, it may not look like that now. That was, like I said, that was a little while ago. And our idea then is we wanted a television show. That was the idea of doing that, because we both came from a film and television background. So we thought, hey, this is a natural progression, right? We can go out and we can get a TV show. Well, obviously that didn't work because we're standing up here talking to you about travel blogging, right? So, which is great, you know, because for us that's the best thing that could have happened, because it allowed us to pursue what our passion was. And that was photography and writing. So when we found that was what our passion was, we readjusted, we did a business plan, we launched ThePlanetD, and we started building our personal brand.
And when I look back at that time, I think, no wonder we didn't think about travel blogging as a career, because then nobody was thinking of travel blogging as a career. Most people were taking time from their careers to go travel and maybe write a blog as they went. 3 months in, they gave up because, well, that's just way too much work. And they went on with their travels. When they came home, they left that behind, and that was the end of it. But travel blogging now has turned into an industry that is influencing the way people travel. It is actually influencing the way they research travel and the way they learn about travel. Now, I know that there's a bunch of you that were at TBEX 2010 way back in 2010 in New York City. I want to see a show of hands of who was there.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I have something to tell all of you. You are old too. We're not alone, okay? I feel so much better now.
I feel much better about that now.
But it's hard to believe that only 3 years into travel blogging, you are all considered veterans of the industry. I remember one of the ongoing themes of that TBEX was everybody was asking, can we even have a career in travel blogging? Is it a sustainable business? And the thing was, back then, it was so new that even the people up on stage didn't know if we could have a business in this travel blogging world or not. So it just shows how we had to do so much trial and error over the past 3 years to actually get to where we are today.
And can you believe that that was only 3 years ago? Like you said, I can't. I mean, like, we're standing up here now, and there's 1,200 people here. They're learning about the business of travel blogging, and they're here networking. And that's incredible, because now we know that we're not wondering anymore whether we can make travel a career. You're probably sitting beside a blogger that's actually making a living out of their travel blog. And that's so inspirational for me, and I'm so proud of that. And we wanted to make sure that, that you guys get a takeaway out of our presentation. So what we wanted you to remember at the end of everything today is, oh, it's a big one. You are the luckiest people in the world. Why? Yeah, you are, definitely. And why? It's because you've chosen to be in an amazing industry. I mean, we get to travel the world. We get to meet great people. We get to share our stories with the world and our readers. But more importantly, you're in an industry that's in its infancy. Like, we're getting in at the ground floor here. So if you have creative ideas and you know where you want to be, then really the sky is the limit for you. We're on this this positive upswing that's happening right now. And we do have to be careful, though, as well. We're in this positive upswing in that, we see this trend developing, and maybe some of you have seen it as well, where people are focusing a little bit more on the negative than the positive, and we have to do our best to filter out that noise. I think you know what I'm talking about. You've sort of heard in the background, maybe in different conversations, that these certain travel bloggers are getting it all, and the market's cornered, and there's not enough room for me. But you know what? We're here to tell you that that simply isn't true. In the grand scheme of things, right now in travel blogging, competition is really low.
Now I know what you're all thinking. You're saying, sure, easy for you to say. You're standing up on stage, and you started years ago when there wasn't any competition. Well, that may be true. 5 years ago, there wasn't a lot of competition, but there wasn't also a lot of opportunity. People weren't working with travel bloggers then. Companies didn't even know what travel blogging was. We had to work very hard to become recognized by the community. And it was people breaking down barriers and trying new things and showing that we had credibility and we had value that paved the way to where we are today.
And where are we today? Well, I don't want to drop that. Where are we today? Well, last year was probably the most successful year ever for travel blogging. So give yourselves a round of applause, because it really was, for sure. And travel blogging over the past 3 years has been completely flipped on its head. So we thought it would be great if we could look back in the last year and highlight some of the campaigns and trends that made it so successful. Oh, I was supposed to be on that one before, sorry. Companies and DMOs started to invest in bloggers. And by this I mean, they started having in their marketing budget a budget for new media. And we had a lot of conversations with people before, years ago, talking about, don't they understand the value of travel blogging and social media? Why isn't it in their budget? But that's changing now. We're starting to get a slice of the budget pie, if you will.
And the reason that we're getting it is that because innovators were saying, we're starting to test the waters and see how working with travel bloggers panned out. They were, as Sarah said earlier this morning, in the dating phase of travel blogging. So a bunch of different companies, they did a trial and error. I remember talking to Ryan of House Trip last year, and he was saying that I don't even know if we can work with travel bloggers, but I'm open to it, and I want to see how it goes. So he came to his first travel blogging conference, and he had some blog trips throughout 2012, and then he had sent people all over the world to stay in apartment stays. And then obviously he saw the value of that, because this year they launched the House Trip Diplomats program with a core group of bloggers that from all kinds of different backgrounds that are actually showing a new way of traveling.
And Expedia is another company that did the same thing last year. They had campaigns like the Expedia Find Yours, the college football program that they ran with Jeremy from Travel Budget Sec, or Budget Travel Sec. I'm sorry, Jeremy. And what they did is they tested the waters. They took what worked and what didn't work, found out what that was, and then this year launched a larger campaign with those findings in the Expedia Viewfinder campaign.
G Adventures was one of the first companies to recognize the value of travel bloggers. And they started out sending bloggers on to experience their group tours. But quickly they realized that maybe they should get a core group of bloggers, so they founded the Wanderers in Residence. And that's evolved over time. It's into its second year now, where they've narrowed it down to 4 bloggers who are working with them, who have the same values as them, who are great representation of their brand, and who clearly have a lot of influence. You know, they're doing a lot more things than just going out and experiencing trips. They're actually speaking on behalf of G Adventures at travel blogging conferences and other conferences around the world. They are writing for their Looptail blog, and Gary Arndt, he's led 2 successful photography campaigns using his influence in the G Adventures brand. So the theme that you can see that all of these companies did is at first they tried different things, they tested the waters, and then they found the people that they could work with who suited their brand and focused it on a targeted campaign for the future.
We also saw DMOs and companies leveraging travel bloggers' social media like they never did before. We saw travel bloggers running Twitter chats, not only just in general travel, but becoming expert voices for brands and companies and speaking on their behalf and answering questions. We were judging photography, travel photography contests, running Pinterest campaigns. What else? Lots of Facebook campaigns. You know, so they were really trying to harness all the influence that we have in social media. There were also social media specific trips. Now I know before there's been Twitter trips before, but I know a couple DMOs who were inviting Instagram influencers there to Instagram their city, which is something that's never been done before. So they're really trying hard to leverage our expertise in these different social media channels.
And speaking of destinations, we saw the evolution of the blog trip. Gone were the days of the fam trips, where they sent a whole bunch of people out just to experience one cookie cutter type of itinerary. Instead, they were targeting the trips to the blogger-specific niche. And then we saw the evolution of that go from not only just one trip that targeted their niche, but to these long-term trips that were happening, where people were sent to different destinations or to a destination at different times of the year, and they were all from different backgrounds and writing about different activities, thus keeping the destinations up at the top of people's mind over a longer period of time, rather than having one media blitz for that 1 week of time.
And one of the things that I'm quite excited about is that we saw bloggers take action. They actually started to take charge of their own destiny, if you will. And they started to look at themselves more as business people and more as professionals, which is fantastic. We saw the formation of the Professional Travel Blogging Association, which it's still in its infancy now, but I think that that's a step in the right direction for our industry. Travel bloggers got together and they self-published their own line of books, like the Traveler Handbook series, where a bunch of bloggers got together and took their expertise in what they know and wrote a guide for that. They some really valuable information, and they didn't wait for the publisher to come to them. They went out and took initiative themselves. We also obviously saw the formation of a lot of groups last year, like iAmbassador and the Navigate Media Group, where these groups are leveraging their power in numbers in order to not only attract larger contracts, but to give destinations and companies more value over a larger audience and give them some more exposure.
Now, I know a lot of people have been talking to me over the year and even over this weekend about these groups. They've been saying, Deb, what do you really think of these groups? Aren't these little cliques happening? And I'm starting to think that there's no room for me, and why can't I be a part of them? But I think these groups are a great addition to the travel blogging community. These are people thinking forward. They're not sitting there when they're coming up with ideas going, uh-oh, our travel blogger is going to be mad at me because I started a group. I know Melvin and Keith well, who started iAmbassador, and I know that they're just really excited about elevating our business and showing that travel bloggers have influence. So I don't think that you have to worry about these groups and not being room. There's great ways of even forming your own. I know Eco Adventure Media just launched this week with a group of eco-minded adventure travelers who are going out to form their own group and create influence. There's all kinds of ways that you can get together with like-minded people to make things happen.
Definitely.
So I think that all of these people actually have helped build the trends that are happening today in travel blogging. So let's talk about the trends for a second.
Yeah, well, let's look at the trends that are happening in travel blogging today. We're seeing this convergence, if you will, of traditional media and new media. And a good example of that is even here at TBEX. I know the Society of American Travel Writers has made their first appearance here. And yeah, I think that's, that's really fantastic. It gives us bloggers an opportunity to, maybe join one of the most respected societies in journalism. And more importantly, we get to work with our travel writer partners in, forming different campaigns, exchanging ideas, and it helps broaden everybody's mind and horizons. Also, in that same vein, I know that traditional media, traditional print media, is also embracing bloggers. I know Nomadic Matt released his book that used to be an ebook. I know that blog posts are getting picked up by mainstream media like USA Today. I think she's here.
Beth Blair.
Beth Blair,
from
Vacation Gals. She's got her own column in Shape magazine. So you can see that there's this meld happening between bloggers and traditional media. And we can't forget about TV as well. I know there's some bloggers out there who are flashy on TV. And that was our love at one time. But we're not included in this list. But guys like Johnny Jett, I've seen him on everything from PBS to NBC. And I know that here in Canada, we have Trish from TripStyler. She's got her regular segment on global TV. So we're really, there's a lot of coming together.
And Alicia
happening.
in the front row. What is she on? Peter and Chris all the time. Is Peter and Chris?
Yeah,
there everywhere. You go. So that's the thing, travel bloggers aren't just crossing over in different mediums. They're also crossing over into different
markets,
thank you. Into different markets. So start thinking outside of the box. There's lots of opportunity out there for photography, for entertainment, for even in tech I've seen people writing. I know for one, I never thought that a financial market would be interested in working with travel bloggers until we started working with American Express and Sun Life Financial. But as it turns out, when people are planning their finances and thinking about money, travel is a huge part of it. They're not just using travel bloggers either. All these companies are starting to think, hey, what if I put entertainment together with travel, with photography, with music? So that's something for you to think about as well. When you're starting to think of, maybe I need some people to help me gain influence. Maybe think outside of the travel blogging sphere and see if you can get together with bloggers that are similar, that can actually help to raise your profile.
Travelers are putting their trust in travel bloggers. We're seeing travel bloggers who have built up their authority over time, designing and running their own tours. And why travel with a travel blogger? Well, I think it's that they're experts in their field, and their blog really shows their personality, and that's a connection that they have, and they're cool. Who doesn't want to travel with somebody who's cool, right?
Well, that's why I travel with you, baby.
I know, thanks.
Little love back, please. No? No?
Yeah, no, that's,
that's
why I travel with you.
he's in the doghouse. I'm not talking to you. Just move on.
Right,
we have like 8 minutes. Let's go.
Move on quick. All right. Okay. Sorry. We also saw there's a new revenue stream come into it, which is consulting. And this is something that didn't happen before. A lot of travel bloggers were in on the social media trends, what are going on, what's happening. So you saw companies saying, you know what, I want to learn how to leverage my audience. I want to know how to build my audience and engage with my consumers. So they're hiring them to design these programs. I know, I know Spencer Spellman has been spearheading Expedia's not only blogger campaign, but their social media. He's responsible for Expedia Chat, so he's done a lot from them, and he comes from our industry. And Andrew Hickey from GF Ventures is another one. He took their Facebook page from almost nothing up to 500,000 fans. He's right in there, helped developing the Looptail blog. So these guys have been instrumental in helping these companies establish a social media presence.
So as you can see, over the years, we've gone from way back in 2010 to zero revenue stream to all sorts of revenue streams now. And travel bloggers have to start thinking outside the box, thinking way beyond even just the online world. And not only that, you really need to stay informed about travel, because after all, travel is the core of your business. So you need to know what the consumer is doing. What's the regular everyday person thinking about right now in the travel world?
So let's look at some of the trends that are happening in travel. Mobile, obviously, as you know, most people are on their iPads and iPhone right now. You know, everybody knows that mobile technology is a big part of it, and you know, in our industry, yes, but also from a customer standpoint or a traveler standpoint. You know, they're using their mobile device more than ever before. They could be in Paris and they want to know where they're going to eat that night, or you know, they want to know what they're going to do with their family next weekend, and they're checking in on mobile. So, what does that mean for you? Well, that means you need to know how your site and works on mobile. So how many people here have looked at their website, if they have one, on every mobile device out there and they know how it works?
Ooh.
Jeez, man, that's not too many.
That's less than I expected, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
And, good. We can go on then.
You need to do this because this is the way the trend is going, is mobile technology. So if you don't know how it looks on mobile, what, you know, that pop-up you have that comes up that asks people to sign in for your newsletter or your Facebook, maybe that's freezing people out on their mobile device, and you know, they leave and they go away. So you know, what you're doing is you're really affecting the customer experience, and you don't want to affect that negatively. So get out there, look at your site on mobile, optimize it for mobile, because you know, that's one of the trends that are really picking up this year.
Another trend that's happening is vacations in your own backyard. And I'm about to say it. I'm going to say it, Dave.
Don't use the word.
Staycation.
I hate that word.
I know. I have to say it because you know why? This is becoming a growing trend. You know, there's an economic crisis out there, and the price of gas is going crazy through the roof. So people are looking for adventures in their own backyards. This is offering an opportunity for travel bloggers. You don't have to keep traveling around the world 24/7. You can become an expert in your own field. I know Natalie from Near Afar has really set herself up well as being the Toronto expert in travel blogging.
Adventure travel is also, it's probably the fastest growing market in the travel industry at this point. And you know, it's the definition of adventure travel has changed. The Adventure Travel and Trade Association defines it as a travel that has some sort of physical activity, some sort of connection with nature, and an immersion in culture. So with soft adventures, it's really opening up the travel market to a whole new way of traveling.
And yes,
and social media. You know, we talked about social media, and we talk about it a lot in our business. It really helps us further our business, but we also have to look at how the consumer, the traveler itself, the guy who's coming to your site is using social media. And the ITB World Travel Trends Report said that 40% of travelers said that social comments factored in on their travel plans. So that's huge. You know, they're going to social networks and using that information as recommendations for them to travel. So you need to make sure that you are out there upping your social engagement. You need to make your content easy to share. But more importantly, what you need to do is you need to produce content that people want to share. You know, that's the main thing right now. You can still keep your point of view, you know, right from your heart, but give your audience some value. And you know, value can come in many sources. It could be, you know, it could be inspiration, it could be information, it could be travel tips, it could be entertainment. Whatever it is, find out what your audience wants and give it to them.
So you're going to have to do your research and find out what your audience wants. And the best way to do that is simply ask them. The people that come to your site every day, ask them on a poll. Why do they come to your website? And we've covered a lot of ground over here. You know, we've talked about how travel blogging was at one point and how lucky you are that you weren't there 5 years ago when no one was working with us. You're in the best time for travel blogging right now. We've talked about travel trends. We've talked about the trends of travel blogging. So I want to, you know, put in my little crystal ball and tell the future of what Dave and I think the future trends of travel blogging will be. Whenever we do our year-end wrap-up, we always think outside the box and go, what can we do different next year? And I think that's the common theme with all of the people that we were talking about today, is that they're always thinking forward. They're thinking ahead. They're keeping their eye on the trends that are happening today, but they're thinking about what will the market be in the future. So what do we think is going to happen? I'm starting easy on this one. You know, new media and traditional media will merge. We already see that starting to happen, but soon the lines are going to be completely blurred, and we're going to have journalists and travel bloggers all working on same sorts of projects. Now, what does that mean to you as travel bloggers? Well, you're going to have to up your game, because you are going to be competing against journalists who have years of experience, who are experts in their fields. So really hone those writing skills and those photography skills, and be ready to, you know, take that writing and compete. Yes.
Video bloggers, vloggers are going to become increasingly important. As we were talking about with mobile technology, people are digesting their content differently. as time goes on, so video is going to become much more important. So make sure you're brushing up on those Final Cut Pro or iMovie skills or whatever it is, and those interview skills, because YouTube isn't the second largest search engine in the world for nothing, right?
Online travel shows are going to take over. Travel and Escape, they have started their new Nomad series, and if they are a TV station that actually thought about putting a travel show together, well, they're obviously showing that that's where the market is going. I know the next generation of kids out there, because we're old, they don't really watch TV. They watch on their computers, so start thinking about things like that.
Page views versus audience. I think we're going to see a big shift away from just, not how many people are actually putting eyes on your site, but how active your audience is, and how much engagement is happening there. It's a talk now, but I think it's become even more important. That influence that you have with your audience and that connection is something that companies are going to really want to leverage in the future.
Microblogging is going to explode, I think. We've all been watching Where's Andrew of National Geographic. I think he's been doing a great job in his microblogging. I love watching his videos and his Instagram and his tweets about everything that's going on. You follow the stream of microblogging. And I think that Twitter is going to become more of a storytelling tool of travels. People will be watching in real time.
On the flip side of that, I think there's going to be an emphasis put, especially on blogs, about the long reads, the more involved posts. When people come to your website now, you're going to have to really give them some serious information. So, you're going to be writing 2,000 to 7,000 word posts, researched, very well crafted posts that people want information. That's why they're going to be coming to blogs.
More companies are going to use bloggers as content providers. That's already happening, and we're going to see it more and more. Hey, these big corporations that have the money, they see a good thing when it's happening, and great things are happening with travel bloggers, so they're going to start their own blogs, and it's a great opportunity for you to get on board at the ground floor with these companies.
Google Plus is going to topple Facebook. What do you think? Eh? Oh, I got a few believers out there. You were watching Trey with the Google glasses, right? Today? Of course. I've been a big advocate of Google Plus from the very beginning, and I like the way it tells a story much better than Facebook. So I can definitely see it replacing Facebook as the #1 social network. You write that down and say if I'm wrong in the future. Travel blogger design suites. Do you think so? Do you think that's going to happen? I think it could. Lenny Kravitz was designing suites for the Intercontinental Hotel, so why not travel bloggers, right? Come on. Hey, wouldn't you want to stay in an NVR guy's design suite in, the Four Seasons? Of
Definitely.
course, I would. These guys got style, man.
They do. I'd stay there. And finally, reality blogging. I'm telling you, I would pay money to see a group of bloggers sent to a deserted island without their iPhones, without any internet.
Wi-Fi.
I want to see what happens, man. I would pay for that. I think it'd be a disaster, but it'd be fun.
So, as you can see, we think that anything is possible. It's like we're all painters and we're standing in front of a blank canvas. So this is a time for creative people. This is a time for entrepreneurs, and that's exactly what you guys are. Deb and I like to joke a lot about that we're back in the Silicon Valley times, and Steve Jobs and that other guy, what's his name?
That would be Bill Gates.
Oh, sorry, I'm an Apple guy. Sorry, I forget that name all the time. And what they did is, that competition made them produce the best products possible, and it's what made them a success. So don't shun competition. Embrace it, because it only makes you better. Take this, this time now in our industry where competition is coming into it, and use it to elevate what you're doing. Because if you do that, you're only elevating the travel blogging industry, which is going to in turn help us all.
So thank you very much for listening to us today. I want you all to go out to your speed dating sessions and just wow them with some great ideas. Be creative. People are open. As we said earlier, you are in a business that's in its infancy, and you are the luckiest people in the world. So remember that and have a great time, because travel blogging rocks. Woo!
How about giving it up for Dave and Deb one more time?